Hello, friends, and welcome. This is singer and author Debra Cohen. Today, I want to talk about a simple word that every human being longs for: peace. We place it on bumper stickers, we sing about it, we pray for it, we march for it, we write on posters, we tattoo it on our bodies. And yet, despite all of our talk about peace, the world seems more divided than ever. Wars continue. Political hatred grows. Families stop speaking to one another. Social media has become a battlefield. People claim to be fighting for peace while using language that destroys it. So today I want to ask a question that sounds simple, but maybe one of the most important questions of our time. What is peace? And perhaps even more importantly, how do we achieve it? I'll be right back after this message. My life to become a memoir.
I gotta move a little longer, and I will be much stronger. And I'm running hard and free to be me, to be me. My body glides in stealth motion, like a locomotion. I see the track in front of me.
When the night finally came, I could barely breathe from the excitement. The stage lights hit my face, warm and golden. I strapped on my Les Paul, the same one I still own, and we launched into Take It Easy, Take It Easy. I believe pain can become purpose. And the question is, what is peace and how do we achieve it? Let's dig in. What peace is not. Many people means the absence of war, but that definition is incomplete. Two nations can stop shooting at each other and still hate one another. A husband and wife can stop arguing and still be emotionally distant. A community can appear peaceful on the surface while resentments simmer underneath. Peace is more than silence. Peace is more than a ceasefire as we know today. Peace is more than avoiding conflict. True peace is harmony. It's wholeness. It's reconciliation. It is the restoration of relationships. The ancient Hebrew word for peace is shalom. Shalom. Shalom means much more than merely no war. It implies completeness, well-being, health, prosperity, and right relationship with God and with one another. When Jewish people greet one another with shalom, they are wishing each other a life of wholeness. What a beautiful concept. Many Americans associate peace with the familiar circular peace symbol that became popular in the 60s. For baby boomers like me, that symbol evokes memories of a turbulent era, the Vietnam War, anti-war demonstrations, flower children, music festivals, young people yearning for a better world. Many carried peace signs because they sincerely wanted an end to violence. That desire was noble. Human beings should desire peace. The symbol became one of the most recognizable images in modern history. It appeared on jewelry, clothing, posters, and artwork. For many Americans, it represented hope. So, when are symbols not enough? Here's the problem. A symbol cannot create peace. Only people can. History teaches us that peace signs alone do not stop wars. Slogans do not change hearts. Hashtags do not heal nations. Real peace requires something far more difficult. It requires transformation. Peace begins internally before it appears externally. A peaceful society is built by peaceful people, and peaceful people are formed through character, discipline, humility, and moral responsibility. Let's talk about that even more after this message.
Hey everyone, I'm in New York City walking toward the July 4th celebration for America 250. The energy is incredible, so many flags and people. This is for America's 250th. It's so inspiring.
It's so inspiring, isn't it? And this is Debra Cohen. Let's talk about the hand gesture that means different things. One of the most fascinating realities of our modern world is that symbol, and that symbols can remember and mean different things to different people. Many Americans recognize the raised V-shaped hand gesture as a sign of peace. During the Vietnam era, it became associated with peace movements and anti-war activism. Yet, the same gesture has also been used in other contexts around the world. Some political groups use it as a sign of victory. Some military groups use it after battlefield success. Others use it to signal resistance, nationalism, or ideological commitment. The same hand gesture can communicate entirely different messages depending on who is using it and why. This teaches us something important. Peace is not determined by a symbol. Peace is determined by intent and action. A person can display a peace sign while spreading hatred, as we see with Hamas. Another person may never display the symbol at all and yet spend their entire life building peace. The symbol is not the reality. Character is the reality. The paradox of our time, we do live in a strange age. People often claim to stand for peace while speaking words of contempt. They demand tolerance while showing none. They call for unity while demonizing anyone who disagrees with them. This contradiction is destroying civil discourse. You cannot insult people into peace. You cannot shame people into peace. You cannot threaten people into peace. And you certainly cannot hate people into peace. Peace built upon hatred is not peace. It's merely a temporary pause before the next conflict. Peace begins with speech. One of the most overlooked sources of peace is our own tongue. The Bible has much to say about speech. In Judaism, there is a concept known as Lashon Hara. Lashon Hara refers to harmful speech about another person. Jewish teachers often explain that harmful speech injures three people: the speaker, the listener, and the person being discussed about. Think about that. Every hateful post online, every cruel rumor, every malicious comment, every insult, every act of character assassination. Each one damages multiple lives. Words matter. Nations rise or fall on words. Families rise or fall on words. Friendships rise or fall on words. Peace begins when we become mindful of our speech. So the inner war Most wars begin long before first shot is fired. They begin in the human heart. Fear, pride, envy, bitterness, resentment, unforgiveness. These are the seeds of conflict. The battlefield is often simply the final stage of an inner struggle that has gone unresolved. This is why every great spiritual tradition emphasizes self-examination. Before we change the world, we must examine ourselves. Before we correct others, we must correct our own attitudes. The hardest battle most of us will ever fight is the battle within. Think about that as we go to break, and we'll talk about it more after this message.
As a priest, I want to educate my members with a nonfiction book about Palestine that will give congregants a biblical perspective of the Israeli-Palestine conflict. I found this new book, Jewish Palestine, Arab Palestine 2nd edition, which was published right after President Trump took office in 2025. It explains the chronological details of the conflict and why the two-state solutions go against the Bible. I am asking my congregants to use this book in their Bible studies, and I'm getting a lot of positive feedback.
Peace requires courage. Many people mistakenly believe peace is weakness. History teaches otherwise. Peace often requires more courage than conflict. It takes courage to forgive. It takes courage to apologize. It takes courage to listen. It takes courage to admit we might be wrong. It takes courage to seek understanding rather than victory. Anyone can throw a punch. Not everyone can extend a hand. So, let's look at this, what the founders understood. America's founders understood something many modern people forget. Sorry, that was my guitar that fell over. Freedom cannot survive without virtue. Laws alone cannot sustain a nation. Constitutions alone cannot preserve liberty. A free society requires self-governing citizens. The moral foundations of a nation determine its future. If citizens lose self-control, kindness, responsibility, and respect, no government can manufacture peace. Peace grows from inside out. First the individual, then the family, then the community, and then the nation. Peace in the home. If we want peace in America, perhaps we should begin at home. How do we speak to our spouses, our children, our neighbors, our co-workers? How do we respond when someone disagrees with us? Do we seek understanding, or do we immediately attack? The habits we practice at home eventually shape society. A nation is simply millions of households multiplied together. Peace and God. For people of faith, peace is not merely a political objective, it's a spiritual calling. The prophets spoke of peace. The Psalms spoke and speak of peace. Jesus spoke of peace. The rabbis spoke of peace. Peace is not passive, it's active. It is something we pursue, something we build, something we protect. The Hebrew Scriptures repeatedly call believers to seek peace and pursue it. Notice that peace is not described as something that magically appears. It's something pursued intentionally. So we have to start with what comes out of our mouths. One of the reasons I wrote Judeo-Christian America coming July 4th is because I believe Americans spend too much time focusing on differences and too little time focusing on common ground. Jews and Christians disagree about many things. Political conservatives and liberals disagree about many things. People of different backgrounds disagree about many things. Yet, we can still choose respect. We can still choose dialogue. We can still choose friendship. Peace does not require uniformity. It requires humanity. So let's think about what we've just talked about and return to our original question. What is peace? Peace is not merely a symbol. Peace is not merely a slogan. Peace is not merely the absence of conflict. Peace is the presence of wholeness. Peace is the decision to see another human being as worthy of dignity. Peace is choosing understanding over outrage. Peace is choosing mercy over revenge. Peace is choosing dialogue over contempt. Peace is choosing hope over despair. The peace sign may remind us of peace, but peace itself is built when one conversation, one act of kindness, one act of forgiveness, and one word come at a time. As America approaches her 250th birthday, perhaps the greatest gift we can give our nation is not another argument. Perhaps it's a renewed commitment to become peacemakers. Not merely people who talk about peace, but people who live it. And remember, God gave us the gift of speech, not to wound one another, but to edify, beautify, encourage, and build bridges. Let us build bridges. Until the next time, this is Debra Cohen. God bless you, and God bless America. You can find out more about my music by going to Debra, Debra, Cohen, Cohen, music.com. And for more about my books, go to the following website, debracohenbooks.org. And if you'd like to join the cause, especially Jews and Christians working together as they once did in America, Judeo-Christian America, my book, is coming out July 4th. In the meantime, you can go to this website and get familiar with the process of rekindling dignity and respect amongst each other. Go to this website, Judeo-ChristianAmerica.com. Again, that's Judeo-ChristianAmerica.com. Remember, on social media, it's tempting to listen to these celebrities. Unfortunately, even one of my favorites, Barbra Streisand, is speaking ill will against President Trump and the government. That does not bring peace. It brings people into division, those that like her, which I do as a singer, but obviously I don't like her politics because she's using her voice to speak against others. There's a place to do that. That kind of speech needs to be directed toward your politicians. You can look online, Google for your public politicians and write them letters, call them in D.C. or locally, visit the politicians when they come to your community. Barbara, that's what you need to do, not post a video about how much you hate President Trump. That goes against your moral fiber as a Jew, I dare say. It goes against the teachings of the Torah. Please, let's pursue peace instead of attacking each other, using our fame to divide people. That's not why we're here. That's not why God made us. Think about your words. They matter. God bless you. God bless America. Thank you for listening.
Oh, say shalom bimroma. Oh, ya say shalom aleinu. Ve'al Israel. Ve'al kol Israel. Oh, say shalom.
Hello, this is Debra Cohen. There is a fascinating historical movement many Americans have never heard about called political Hebraism. For centuries, Europeans and early American thinkers studied the Hebrew Bible for wisdom about government, liberty, law, and civic order. Some even viewed ancient Israel as a model for balancing freedom with moral responsibility under God. This did not mean America became ancient Israel, but it does mean biblical ideas helped influence Western political thought far more deeply than many people realize today. Understanding this history helps us better understand America itself. Our nation was shaped by many streams of influence, including Enlightenment philosophy and Hebrew moral tradition. Both mattered, and both remain important to understanding who we are today. This is one of the historical themes in my upcoming book, Judeo-Christian America. God bless you, and God bless America.